This is John Walton, and you're listening to the Power Play Point podcast with the Blue Liner on point and Anna Knox. Here's Wilson, and on the right side, he
Rebound loose, wild scramble in front, score! Ovechkin with a buzzer beater! It'll count!
And a hat trick tonight, number 21,
Spectacular! Braden Holtby!
Hello and welcome once again to the Power Play Point podcast. This is your host, the Blue Liner on Point, talking to you live to tape from downtown Glen Burnie, Maryland. And, well, you may notice, if you can hear it, the smile on my face because Caps played 3 games and won, well, not just one of them and not none of them, but they won most of them anyway. So, much better week this week. And, of course, it's the first week of March, so we're topping out with Women's History Month. So that being the case, we have not one, but 2 of our lovely lady listeners on with us. One of them you've heard before in the last few weeks. Hopefully you remember. She gave quite the review of the games that were played that week, and that would be Cheryl Ann Forster. Cheryl Ann, C4, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Good to be back.
Yeah, glad to have you back. And also with her, calling from the same line, also another listener, her first time on the show, it's Lynn Regert. Lynn, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Pretty good. Great having you on. So, Lynn, this being your first time, gonna get to know you here a little bit, to introduce you to the listeners. So, where are you calling us from this evening?
I am with Cheryl in her house in Frederick, but I live in Towson.
Towson. All right. Awesome. Know Towson pretty well. I used to go through there a lot myself.
Yeah.
All right. So how is it that you got started as a Caps fan?
Well, actually was a Clippers fan. My grandfather took me to Clippers games, and then when my son came along, we would take him to Capitals games when they started.
Okay. So let me stop you here. So Clippers, I know what you mean, but some listeners may not. So when she says Clippers, she means the old Baltimore Clippers, right?
Yes, the Baltimore Clippers, and they became the Baltimore Skipjacks.
Right. So right. So the longtime team that we had in Baltimore, they used to be called the Clippers. Then they changed their name to the Skipjacks. Then they moved, and then they got the franchise back, and they were actually the Baltimore Bandits for a while, for like 2-3 years. And
it wasn't
then
that long,
they
went
moved
back
again.
Up to Maine. Yeah, they went to Maine.
Yeah, right. They went up to Maine, became the Portland Pirates.
Yep.
So yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I always wanted to see. I didn't get to see too many Clippers games when I was younger, as we live closer to Baltimore than we did to DC. Always jonesing to see one of their games, but the Caps were always the big draw. My dad being Armed Forces, he'd get the discounted tickets. So. All right, cool. So you started out as a Clippers fan, and then you said you got into the Caps when your son was born?
Yep, he got in. He's 36 now, so it was like late 80s. He got into it. He was about 3 when he started. Played mite travel hockey. Played for Little Caps. Played. Craig Laughlin was his coach.
Oh, awesome! So not only were you a hockey mom, he got coached by Locker himself.
Yeah,
awesome.
He did. And awesome. That voice yelling his name across the ice. He can tell.
I can imagine as we heard him all this week. I even put out a Twitter.
That's another podcast.
God bless that man. Yeah. No, we really could. You're not kidding. But I put out a tweet during the game last night. He said something that, I really could have used the laugh. It's been a rough week for me. I won't get into that, but he said something and I just couldn't stop laughing. I just ended up tweeting, Craig Laughlin is chicken soup for the hockey soul. He really is. So that's great. That's great that your son got to know him.
Yeah, we had a tournament in Lake Placid. And he pulls out 2 cases of Moosehead. And he said, "Well, this is for me. I don't know what y'all are having."
Oh, bless his heart. Anytime he comes out with a new beer or new whiskey, I gotta get into that. But
Yeah. Oh,
yeah,
the heavy
awesome.
breathing you hear is the dog trying to climb on my lap and Lynn's lap because we've been gone all weekend.
That's fine. That's fine. Creatures of all kinds are welcome here. Anna's got two. Anna's got 2 dogs that sometimes join in on the podcast. So no worries there. No worries there. My cat BJ Oshie is deciding to be quiet and sit in his corner, and so he's behaving himself for now. But I'm sure that might hear from him.
Right.
Okay, so last question, Lynn. What do you do for the almighty paycheck?
I am a paralegal for a med mal defense firm.
Nice.
Yeah.
See, your first non-financial related person.
Non-financial, non-IT. Finally, I get somebody with a quote unquote normal job doesn't involve
Money or computers.
money or ones and zeros all day. Yeah, exactly. So, finally, streak is broken. All right. Well, good to have you all on tonight. As I said before, it was 3 games that were played, and Caps managed to win 2 of them. Much better week than they had been, thank God.
Yeah.
So, let's just go ahead and get into it. First game was this past Monday, the last game of February, the 28th, against Toronto, first of the 3-game homestand. And, this one wasn't so good. 5-3 loss against the Maple Leafs. Just going to do the rundown of the scoring. Michael Bunting, his 19th, 235 in. Mitch Marner, primary assist on that one. Connor Sherry tied it up 14 minutes later. His 12th, Backstrom and Carlson on the assists on that one. Then William Nylander pulled them ahead 2-1. Tavares and Kerfoot the assists on that one, 18:49 the first. And then this one I thought was this one was the dagger in insert body part here. 2 seconds left, literally 2 seconds left in the first period. Justin Hall, his second of the year. Marner again, Morgan Riley on the assists. 2 seconds left in the damn period. You hate to give up those goals ever.
God, yeah.
And I really thought that one was the backbreaker.
Yeah, I watched. I'll admit I didn't get around to watching the third period, but watching that first period and the second period, I thought Sammy actually played reasonably well. There were breakdown. I mean, there were times he was out of position, but I think it was Locker or Joe. I can't remember if it was Joe or Locker said Toronto has just this nasty little way of getting people out of position and making them stay there long enough so they can make things happen. And I went back and watched some of those goals, and I was like, damn, he's right. You know? I mean, I'm sure that Sammy would want back, but, first one, Faravari, lost an edge and overskated and lost the edge, and he was trying to get it to Wilson, but he just didn't have the angle, and then Bunting just slammed it in.
Well, the first goal, he was out of position. Faravari was way out of position.
Right, out of position, lost an edge. Yeah. At the same time, because he was trying to get back into position long enough to – because if you watch, he swipes his stick at the puck to try and get it to, I think it was Wilson was standing there, and it went right by Wilson. So
no, that's exactly what happened. At least on the first goal, Faravari had a very bad game. I think he hit rock bottom in this game. He hadn't been all month. He'd been subpar, I thought, but he definitely hit rock bottom in this game because it was this one and a later goal where he turned it over. And that, in fact, it was the game. I'm pretty sure it was the game-winning goal where he turned it over, and that was the real kick in the groin after that. But they decided after the first period to bench Sammy and put Vitek Vanacek in for the rest of the game. Okay, so 10 minutes in, they get a power play. Tommy Wilson puts it in, his 16th. Ovechkin and Carlson on the assists on that one.
Mm-hmm. It's nice to see someone other than Ovi shooting on the power play.
Right. No, you could definitely tell they tweaked the power play, and not just because they said so. But yeah, lots more movement, lots more flow. I liked what I'm seeing, with the quote unquote rejuvenated power play.
Mm-hmm.
You're not seeing the same people. Pardon me. You're not seeing the same people pass the puck back and forth and kind of stand around. The guys are moving in and out of position, crowding the net, flooding the parts of the playing surface they have to get a scoring chance, not just standing around hoping for somebody to move and force feeding Ovechkin, not the same power play over and over again.
We were talking about this at the game last night. We prefer the second unit starting the power play.
Well,
get more movement.
Yeah, that's true. They're a little, not as many teams have seen what they can do, so that's
correct.
Another wrinkle into that. But it's kind of a double-edged sword, because if you don't have your number one out there to start, then I kind of think that might even actually take away from the momentum. I might be wrong about that, but it
works. Yeah, it works.
No, it works. It works. But if I'm a coach, my gut feeling, especially it's the very first power play and you're behind, my gut feeling is, you put your cards on the table and go out there with your best. But that it may come down the road that the second unit is the one that gets things done, so that it might. I mean, hopefully, Laviollette's paying attention to that.
Well, nobody says the second unit can't become the first unit, right?
Well, that's true. That's very true. But if the second unit doesn't have Ovechkin on it, then it's number two in name only, and not just because it's number two.
Well, so why do we have to have Ovi on the number one power play? I mean, why can't he be on the number two power play? This is all discussion for another day, probably. I really don't want to go down this rabbit hole, but I mean, it's something I've been thinking about.
You got a point, and yeah, we could probably spend forever talking about this, because I don't think the power play is 100% back, even though it's had a lot of success. But I mean, why not try Ovechkin with some other guys? I think it was actually the both of you that said to me the other day that Schultz being on the point is making a whole lot of difference versus Carlson doing whatever he tries to do.
Yeah.
Well, he had a couple of lapses last night too.
Yeah. He did.
Who, Schultz or Carlson?
No, Carlson.
Oh, Carlson. Oh, don't get me started on him.
Yeah, we'll talk about him later.
Sorry.
Yeah, we definitely will. We definitely will. Yeah. So Wilson ties it on the new power play, or not ties it, makes it 3-2. He would go on to tie it early on in the third period with a shorthanded goal. He seems to be pretty good at that. Nice wrister that makes it 3-3. Faravari, and the one thing he did right this game anyway, and Carlson on the assist for that one. And so it's one of those cases, just like the Columbus game from a few weeks ago. We're thinking, okay, and again, it's Wilson who ties it. We're thinking, okay, great goal by Wilson. They're back in this game. And then
we're playing for overtime.
Playing for overtime. They sat back. They didn't force the play. They didn't do anything to show that they were playing for the win.
Mm-hmm.
And
I think that somewhere along the way.
It bit them in the ass.
Oh, absolutely. Because they're not moving the puck around. They're just clearing it out of the zone. They're playing stuff they don't need to take.
They're playing kill the clock.
Pretty much.
Dude, you've got 15 minutes left in the game. Why are you playing kill the clock?
Right, and the shots they were taking, but they managed to get double-digit shots in the third period, but the shots they were taking were skate 5 feet in the zone, throw it at the net, hope for the best. Oh, oops, turnover, back up.
Yeah,
rinse, repeat.
Or line change, and then,
Yeah, exactly.
Repeat with different characters.
Exactly right. Couldn't have said it better myself. That's exactly what they did. And again, bit them in the ass because they didn't force the play. They didn't play to win. And lo and behold, 16:37 into the third. This is where Okay, so Faravari has the puck deep in the zone, turns it over, and yeah, Rasmus Sandin picks it up, fires it into the net for the go-ahead goal, and that was pretty much it. You could see, I could see anyway, that pretty much killed any momentum they had. They were done. They were just spent. They were done. They had no fight in them left. And then 1 minute left, just over 1 minute left. Pierre Engvall, here's your sign, goes into the empty netter, ices the game. Thanks for picking up that reference, by the way.
Here's a sign. I picked it up. I was like, oh, God. Yep. Get used to it, Lynn.
Oh, no, they should have given Faravari a sign.
Right?
That too. I'd go along with that because, like I said, this was his pretty much his worst game. But I think he learned from it.
Well, I discussed not long ago on Messenger about Faravari possibly being a little bit overrated, but maybe he was just in a slump.
Maybe he was just in a slump. Maybe he was overworked. Maybe he was just carrying too much of the load because he's had a couple decent games since then. So, I was kind of surprised when they decided to put him on the top pairing with Carlson. But that's, for the most part, that seems to have worked out okay.
They balance each other out, I think.
They do, because Carlson has no legs, and Faravari, his puck moving skills are
right.
They're okay. They're not horrible, but
yeah,
he's not going to beat you with his shot most of the time. But
no, but that's out there to do. So
no, you're right. You're absolutely right. But as the song goes, he's got legs and he knows how to use them.
There you go.
There you go. All right. So thus endeth that game. Okay. So shots on goal, 33 for the good guys, 28 for the Leafs.
You mean we actually outshot somebody?
Yeah, amazingly enough. But like I said, when they managed to tie the game, they weren't of the get in the goalie's face and force multiple scoring chances or multiple shots on one scoring chance or anything like that. They just sat back, and it wasn't really
lucky to get a rebound that game.
Right. Exactly. They weren't playing for those rebounds this was the kind of. Go ahead.
That's one of my biggest frustrations with this team. They don't have the guys in the center, in the middle of the ice, to either get rebounds when the shots are made or catch the puck when somebody finally flips it off the boards. They don't have those guys in the center of the ice. But if you look at, and I noticed this a couple of times last night, they were fighting to get the puck off the board, got the puck off the boards. There's no Capitals around. What was it, Kraken? Somebody from Seattle would grab it and go off the other way.
Nobody to feed it to, right? So yeah. And this game, the Toronto game, this one I think was the one where some gritty goals were called for, and it just wasn't happening.
Yeah, Toronto is not the finesse team they used to be. They've gotten a lot more gritty over the last couple of years. They used to be much more of a finesse team, and you can't play them that way anymore.
No, you can't. I think they're a lot more playoff built than people think they are. I think they might surprise some teams this year.
They're the dark horse, yeah.
Yeah.
I really right.
Possible. Yeah. I think you got something there because they're kind of sneaking up on people, and I don't think
people are starting to underestimate them.
Yeah, I don't think people are counting on them to do any damage in the playoffs, so they might surprise somebody.
Well, in that Toronto game, there was absolutely no forecheck by us, none at all.
No.
Yeah, and you can tell that by so a good barometer of that are the giveaways and takeaways. Well, Caps only forced 4 giveaways from the Leafs that whole 60 minutes. Yep. Right. So that goes exactly with what you just said, Lynn. That's because, no forecheck leads to less opportunities, and that they were still in this funk where they didn't want to force the play for whatever reason. That's probably been one of the telltale signs. So, yeah, good on you for pointing that out.
Penalty calls against them. I don't know, but
That's true.
you know, it's a physical game, and they play better, and they have much better results when they're physical.
Yep.
Yeah, and they just haven't gotten into that, at least not too much. Although in this game anyway, the hit count, this has to be a mistake because I didn't really notice all that much, but the hit count for the Caps was 39. I didn't see a whole lot of hitting in this game, so I don't think that's right.
Who is keeping track? A blind guy.
That's exactly. That's I don't trust the hit counts because they go up and down like a really bad roller coaster or your kid's bouncing on the bed. That's just not.
Right.
I don't know if I trust that stat too much, at least per game anyway.
For not 39 game. No.
Maybe they hit the puck 39 times at each other.
Maybe they hit the post 39 times. I don't know, but no.
Yeah, no, I don't think that was too right. The one figure I was kind of surprised by, and so here's your classic equal divorce rating here. Face-off percentage 50-50 right down the line.
There you go.
That's surprising.
That's very surprising.
Well, their face-offs are slowly creeping up. I mean, it used to be where I'd be like, holy crap, we want a face-off. And now I'm like, it's like, oh, okay, we want a face-off. So it's slowly inching up there. We definitely need more work on that. And as Lynn keeps saying, we need to bring back Michael Pekka.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, heck yeah. No,
He was coaching the taxi squad, and their face-offs got so much better when he was coaching.
When he was the developmental coach. Oh yeah, the percentage shot up big time, and they got so much better at it.
Yep.
And I think that's where Nick Dowd really started to learn his craft when he was coaching that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep.
I'm dead certain that's when he started to get better, but unfortunately he moved on. So,
Yeah, he's in Rochester now. My boss's cousin is actually married to him.
Nice.
So I keep telling her, I said, you got to tell him he needs to come back. This Michael, he needs to come back.
I kind of wish he would because, he's one of those guys who played the game the right way when he played.
Yep.
So.
Yeah.
All right. Well, so that was, not as bad a loss where, okay, I'll put it this way. It was better than the Rangers game, at least, but not by much.
And definitely better than the Philly game.
Yeah.
You mean 10 seconds in? Done?
Yeah. Please don't remind me. I just wanted to throw something.
Sorry.
Okay.
Not the cat, I hope.
Yeah. No. Never. All right. So on to the next game for that week, which was this past Thursday, 1st of March against Carolina. And this was weren't you guys at this one?
Yes, we were.
Okay. So put it this way. I wish I was there too because Caps came ready to play in this one.
They did.
All cylinders.
Damn sure.
All cylinders firing.
Yep.
Oh yes, most certainly.
Passing, face-offs, they were firing on all cylinders.
Right. Absolutely. So let's run through the scoring summary real quick. Kuznetsov opens it on the power play, 18:33 in the first. Let's see. You talk about power play chances. Well, okay, let me ask you both this. So this game, was it the Caps that were just ready to go, or was it that Carolina was kind of a half a step off, or was it both?
I think it was kind of both. The Caps are I think you could tell the Caps are frustrated and pissed off by those three losses. Well, especially the last three losses.
Well, they came out hitting anything with skates.
Yeah, pretty much. But then Carolina started targeting, literally, I think they were targeting Tom Wilson because every time you turned around, somebody was trying to hit Tom Wilson. And I think that's off.
That's funny you say that. That's funny you say that because Jenny was watching the game with me, and she must have said that 3-4 times in the first two periods that they were targeting him.
When they couldn't get a rise out of him, they went after halfway.
Right.
Yep. And I think that pissed them off. And I think it's because they were half time. As a matter of fact, it was funny because I was sitting next to a kid from Raleigh who was a Canes fan. And he was actually really cool. He wasn't one of those obnoxious, rude fans that don't know what they're behind us. Yeah, we won't talk about him. He was. They didn't know what they were talking about. But we actually were talking the game, and he was like getting frustrated with him. He's like, "Oh my God, these guys are getting so bad. What are they doing?" And I'm like, "Gee, y'all sound just like us a few weeks ago."
Actually, the other day.
Yeah. So I think it was really a combination of the two, and I think part of the reason they were just trying to, and I'm not sure why. Well, everybody wants to target Tom Wilson. We don't need to talk about that, or Hathaway, but and I think it was because they were a half a step off. They weren't playing quite as well. They did get more zone time than I would have liked, but all in all, I think our boys were out there. They were just ready to play, and then I think just them going after Tom and Hathaway just pissed them off, and they're like, okay, we got to finish.
They were too busy going after the two of them that it left somebody else open.
Hockey, right?
Yeah, it left somebody else open.
Yeah. No, I definitely noticed that when Jenny pointed it out to me, and
I've met her.
Oh, that's right.
You guys met her.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. They started in with the rough stuff. They tried to get the Caps off their game, and it failed. And it also led to them, taking so many penalties. Let's see, it was 6 power play chances they actually gave the Caps the whole game.
Yeah.
and they converted on 2 of them.
Yep.
That was a shock.
When have you seen that? When was the last time they did that? Forever?
Yeah, something like that.
It's been a while.
Yeah, crazy, absolutely crazy. So
and they were taking shots and not. They passed it to Ovi a lot, but not as much as they have been.
Yeah, they were actually trying to take shots and stuff, and Ovi was actually trying to make things happen. He wasn't just trying to do the one-timer. He was actually not just standing there waiting for the puck.
Right. He was moving back and forth between the far post corner and the left circle. And sometimes he'd drift into the low slot.
Mm-hmm.
But he's moving, which makes a lot of difference.
And some danger too.
Yeah, because he can shoot from all those spots.
Yeah.
Right. Definitely. And I think that plus all the other tweaks that they've made have made a lot of difference.
Right. And the other thing I like about him moving like that is it opens opportunities for the other guys that if they can't get the puck to Ovi, he's there as a distraction and there's an open lane for them to shoot.
Right.
If he's in his office, they know all they're trying to do is prevent our guys from getting the puck to Ovi. But if Ovi's moving around, then they've got to figure out how to stop that. Then they got a whole different mentality. And that leaves chances for the other guys to shoot if Ovi's not in his office.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. No, it does. It does.
Yeah, because they're too busy watching Ovi that they're not paying attention to maybe
what
Orlov or
Kuzi in this case.
Yep.
Yeah, they know, they figured it out. They know what is normally going to happen. So they see him and they've got eyes on him, but they don't realize they've got others who can put it on net really hard. Like you said, Orlov's got one hell of a shot.
Yeah, he does.
I wish he would use it more.
He's been so underrated on that position. I mean,
he's had a good couple of games the last couple of games.
Yeah, I love Orlov. Lynn wasn't a big fan for a while.
3-4 years ago, you would not have found too many people saying that.
He's grown on me. I mean, but he does. He has an incredible shot, and he's also skating more on the power play.
Yeah, I'm not sure he's had much opportunity to use his shot before, though. I think he's getting a lot more chances this year.
Oh, I think he is, and he doesn't flash it often, but when he does, it's nice and hard and accurate.
Mm-hmm.
And almost always makes it on net, forces a save or makes it into the net. And,
controversial opinion coming.
Oh no.
Okay.
I think he's got a better shot than Ovi.
Oh.
I think he's got a more accurate shot. I don't think he's got a harder shot.
I didn't say harder. I said better.
That's what she said.
Sorry, that's the weekend instead.
No, that's fine.
I mean,
this is a family show, but I'm leaving that in.
Doesn't necessarily mean harder. Okay, as you were saying, he's more accurate. He's got that precision. He's got that. I can't. You threw me off track. See?
Sorry.
But no, I mean, think about it. When he gets the puck and he shoots it, it's accurate. It's not as hard as Ovi's, and that's okay. It doesn't have to be. But I think because of that, he can control it better. I think sometimes when Ovi is hitting that puck so hard, it's hard to control. And I know he's a professional and he's been doing it for 100 years or whatever, but harder isn't always better.
Right. Well, put it this way. How many times can you remember Joby saying Orlov shoots and it misses the net?
Not very many.
No.
Not very many.
No.
It almost always goes on net.
Right. How many times have you heard Ovi shoots? It goes wide. Ovi shot. It's
over
blocked.
the net, misses the net, hits the glass. Yeah, plenty of times.
Off my post, but
Yeah.
it's in the area usually.
And that's where brings me back around. I think Orlov's got a better shot than Ovi because of that.
Okay, that's fair. I'll reserve judgment and agree to disagree at the same time. But no, that's a fair argument.
I backed it up.
Okay.
6 of one, half dozen of the other, you could say. But yeah, I can see that. I don't know if I agree 100%. But again, what it comes down to is I really wish Orlov would, make use of that shot more often.
Mary Jane, excuse me a minute. Mary Jane, get off. Mary Jane's trying to climb on us. Put the thing down.
Dog's acting up.
She's lying on Lynn.
No, her elbow's in my thigh.
So anyway, back to the game.
Well, right. So, we'll agree to disagree. So that's good. Okay, so that was the opener, was Kuznetsov's power play goal, and then Faravari. I'm going to call him Flyavari because that's pretty much what he did. Is Bobby Orr imitation here? He went flying towards the net. got this one. I'm surprised he didn't hurt himself, but
I know.
so he gets his fourth. You know what? I'm going to jump to the replay on this because it was, other than the Wilson goal in the Kraken game, this was probably the most entertaining looking goals of the week.
That was a fun goal. But
yeah, that one was fun, but I think this one was good to look at too. So, okay, so I'm picking up the play here. Okay, so Faravari picks up the puck in the high slot after getting a pass.
Yeah.
And he gets tripped up on the follow through. That's why he ended up on the boards.
Right.
But the feed he got was from looks like Sherry off the boards.
Yeah.
Off the right wing boards after Hathaway picked it up on the end board. So okay, yeah, that worked out. You wouldn't think Faravari would be in a position to do that, but thankfully he was. And maybe like Orlov, maybe that's something he needs to do, a little bit more to contribute, even though we know them more for their defensive game,
Yeah.
Well, and you also had, I'm looking at it, Dowd had a really nice screen on that too.
Yeah, he did.
Very true. Very true. That whole line, that's the one that's been saving their bacon this whole season.
Fantastic.
Well, now here's something else. The fourth line is the only line that has not been tweaked nearly all year.
True.
If you go back and look at all the games, every line has been tweaked at least a little bit.
Until now.
No, because they keep switching up. Well, until now, because we have injury.
Right. But, that's what I'm thinking. But yeah, until Hagelin got hurt, and they
Right.
said,
That's
well, he's done for at least
only
4
line that's
weeks.
been together all year.
Right.
You go back, look, Sherry's on the first line, Sherry's on the second line, Sprong's in, Sprong's out. AJF's in, Snively's in, Snively's out. McMichael's, none of those lines has stayed the same all year. And that is not
the fourth line.
except the fourth line.
Yep.
Until Hagelin got hurt and we had to switch it up.
Right. Exactly.
And I
Yes.
like Sherry on the fourth line.
Well, that's okay. So that was my next question. Who takes Hagelin's place?
If Snively weren't hurt, I'd like Snively for it. But other than that, AJF is
On the fourth line?
on the fourth line. No.
Sherry.
Sherry.
Sherry on the fourth line.
So you guys think Sherry with Dowd and Hathaway
Hathaway. Yep.
permanent?
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Or at least till Hags comes back. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I saw that, or I read about the surgery, and I was like,
I'm
oh
not
God,
Sure, I'm not sure he'll be able to come back. I don't know.
yeah. I got a really bad end of career vibe from
Oh,
Yeah.
because I've heard of guys who got who've had to endure surgeries like that. Manny Malhotra comes to mind, and they never came back.
So I know he had eye surgery, but I didn't hear what the exact injury was.
Well, the last I heard, GMBM said something like, well, the surgery went well. They call it a success. And his vision-wise, they didn't think there was too much damage.
Okay.
So that leads me to believe maybe it was more like the bone around the eye.
Okay, like the orbital bone or something. Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah, but that's still
Pretty bad.
That's pretty bad. It takes a
While to heal.
long time to heal. But yeah, I really like Sherry on the fourth line. I think he fits in well there.
Well, we'll go over another possible replacement in the next game. But yeah, I like Sherry. Well, I like Sherry on any line, actually. But that's he seems to click with those two guys. But yeah, I like him anywhere. And as he said in an interview, intermission interview, he pretty much said, "Hey, look, I just want to play, and they can put me anywhere, and doesn't matter where they put me as long as it's on a wing, I'll give it my best effort." So, but yeah, he seems to be developing a chemistry with those guys. We'll see. I think they're going to platoon him and the guy we already mentioned, AJF, Axel Janssen-Fjallby, on that fourth line. See who clicks the best, and probably make a decision come playoff time.
I would like to see AJF, Eller, and Sprong on the line. I think
I like AJF speed. I think it would be best served on the fourth line, though.
I can see that. I can see it.
McMichael, though, I'm not.
But McMichael is just.
I think he gets confused. Like if he's not on the same line.
We talked about this.
A couple weeks ago.
We talked about this to death last episode, and C4, you and I talk about this all the time.
Mm-hmm.
There's a guy, I won't name him, but there's a guy I occasionally spar with, half jokingly, privately sometimes, and even he said it might be time for McMichael to either sit or maybe even go back to Hershey for a bit.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, because if they put him on a wing, he's like confused. They put him in center, he doesn't know what to do. They change him on a line, put him on a different line. You've got to be adaptable. You've got to be able to do either. I mean,
excellent point.
The game is too quick, and it changes too fast for you to be confused about your assignment.
Mm-hmm.
Right, exactly. And that's his problem. He just doesn't seem to know what to do while he's out there.
Yeah, he was not ready for the speed of an NHL game.
No, he's not. And that's unfortunate. So I think maybe even, as much as I kind of hate to say it because he's a former number one pick, maybe you do send him to Hershey, give him top line minutes there, let him get his confidence back and then send him back up. I think that might end up being the proper path for him at this point because he just doesn't look like he belongs right now.
No. Can we do that the way the contracts are written?
That's a good point. I don't know if he's on a two-way contract or a one-way contract. I'd have to look that up.
I don't. I think part of the reason he hasn't gone down is I think he's on a one-way contract. I don't think he's gone a two-way contract. I think that's not why. I think that's why we haven't sent him down.
You may be right about that. He probably is on a one-way contract.
Yeah.
So
I was talking about it a while back.
Personally, I'd rather see LaPierre come back up.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that'd be nice, but I don't think he's ready either, because the last few games I saw him play, he was I don't want to say he was a spectator, but he didn't seem to know where to put himself when the puck was going the other way. And I think some more time playing against guys his age, he'll develop a better sense of that going forward. You're probably going to see him in Hershey a lot next year.
Okay. Yeah, because he's only, 18 or 19?
He's 19 now.
19 now? Okay.
Yeah. He's got a lot.
Yeah.
I think you're going to see LaPierre spend next year with Hershey, and they might give him spot duty with the big club. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if that's the path they put him on.
Yeah.
But yeah, I said this last week. I don't think McMichael is a bust right now.
No.
But he's not playing up to his potential, and
right.
He's not used to the speed of the game at this level. So somehow,
to him as well.
Yeah, that
The
too.
speed and the strength and the act.
And I think he's a little starstruck. He actually grew up watching some of these guys. You know what I mean?
Well, you could.
I mean, he's kind of over it. I mean, you'd think he'd be over it by now, but sometimes,
I get that, and he certainly seems to it comes off in how he carries himself on the ice. But you could also have said that about Snively, and look at what he's done.
Well, some people are more susceptible to it than others.
Right.
I mean,
well, that too. Some people just have more confidence in
some of them stand in doorways with their jaws on the floor, while the other one's running up to Peter Bondra.
For God's sake. Put that down.
I smell a story there.
I'm never going to live that down.
I'll tell you later, off air.
Okay.
She's not ever going to live it down. We'll leave it out there. Anyway, back to the game.
Well, right. So the some of the kids are all right anyway. So Ferravari proven. Okay, so that made it 2-0, and we're still in the second. And okay, so we're 15:05 into the second period. This is where the Caps got their second power play goal. And yes, classic Ovi from The Office. Slapper assisted by Carlson and Oshie from the bump position. And Lorenzo said this last week. Getting him back is making all the difference in the world on the power play. It's certainly helping him out. His going in and out, causing havoc in front of the net, and he was right. He called it, and that's what helped here, because Ovi had all kinds of space to release that one timer, and that made it in. So that makes it 3-0. On to the third period, and within the magical minute, guess who makes it 4-0? The guy we were talking about a while ago with the great shot, Dmitry Orlov with his 8th. Yeah. Sherry and Schultz on the assists on that one.
Yeah, he never saw that puck coming.
No,
and that's just what we were talking about.
Him to pass it.
Yeah, because he was on the top of the left circle.
Yeah, and that's he's got a deceptively fast and rising shot that, like we said, most of the time it finds its way on net. He almost never misses.
Mm-hmm.
So
actually, he was he was like halfway between the blue line and the long shot.
And it was accurate.
Replay.
It was hella accurate.
Yep.
Let's see if I can. Well, if the ad would stop playing here, I've actually called up the replay. But yeah, I kind of sort of remember that goal.
That's the one we thought was Mantha's.
Yeah.
We thought Mantha.
Oh, right. Mantha had been in front and set the screen.
That's right. That's the one I messaged you.
Yeah, because you said Mantha had done it, and
So I'm okay. Yep. I'm watching the replay now. Mantha had just crossed in front of the paint. At the same time, Orlov had released it from the
point
from the point. He was almost at the boards actually, and it actually deflected off the defenseman's stick. It didn't touch Mantha at all, but it was a nice little snapshot from Orlov that actually deflected off the Carolina defenseman's stick and in. Mantha never touched it, but he set a perfect screen. And that caps it for your free 4-piece McNuggets for the day. Hopefully you ate hearty if you had that. Guy we haven't talked about in this game, Vitek Vanacek.
Oh man,
how good was he?
He was on point.
He was really good. He came out for warm-ups, and he was just so focused. He wasn't even paying attention to anybody, nobody in the crowd, none of the players on the ice. He was just looking straight ahead.
Yep. He was just ready
like
to
a
go.
man on a mission.
So you guys could tell right from the warm-ups that he was into it.
Yeah, we were right on the ice. I mean, not on the ice, but
we were watching, from
behind the glass.
Yeah.
And you could see he was there. He was ready to go, man.
Yeah.
He was playing like he had something to prove.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I'd say that, yeah.
Oh, definitely. And I also said this last week that I think you're going to see him, whether he's in a mop-up role like he was in the Toronto game, or if he's starting, he's going to start to take it to another level. You're going to see him take it to another level. This is the beginning of that.
I think so. If he can stay,
go ahead.
I said if he can stay healthy.
Yeah, that's probably the one question mark that's left on him. If he can stay healthy. I personally think he has answered all of the other questions.
Yeah. He is, I think he is, after watching the two and after watching Sammy go, 6 games in a row or something, I'm beginning to think Vanacek is the better fit for the team.
Well, I also think it's going to be his job to lose.
True. Now, on the other side of that, we get rid of Sammy and he gets the proper coaching. Yeah. He's going to be a freaking beast somewhere else.
Okay, so you think at this point, Sammy has played himself into being trade bait, hopefully, to be that guy. Let's see.
This year, but he's a UFA at the end of the season, right?
They both are.
Yeah. So if I'm a coach and I've got 2 UFAs and one Vanacek and one Sammy, I would be signing.
As of right now,
actually, you know what? I got to think about this. And if you'll indulge me, I can check cap friendly, but I think they're both actually RFAs.
Oh.
Which is a big difference.
Okay, that changes a lot.
Okay, so hold on. I'm into cap friendly now. Okay. Yes, they are both RFAs after this year.
Hey. Interesting.
That does change things.
It changes things a lot. And so the main difference being that if another team makes an offer, then the Caps have the right to match or walk away.
Right.
Mainly. There's other little nuances in there, but yeah, if another team wants Sammy or Vitek, they can say, okay, we want to sign you X amount of years for this amount of money. Caps can say, okay, well, we'll do that. Sign with us. You're done. And that kind of a deal I hate because speaking of Carolina, they have this thing with Montreal. They've done it back and forth. I think Sebastian Aho was the guy that the Canadians went after. Then Carolina was kind of forced to sign him to a long-term, high-value deal, and they went back and forth about it. But yeah, that's always kind of a catch-22 because you can walk away, but if you commit, then you got to commit to what the other team offered too. So
Yeah.
And that's not always in the team's best interest or the salary cap if you need to make moves.
No, it's not. So it's going to be very, very interesting how they handle the both of them at the end of the year. But yeah, they're both restricted free agents, not unrestricted. So yeah, it's going to be very interesting come both the trade line at the end of the season.
To say the least.
Yeah. But yeah, that's great that you guys noticed that right from the warm-ups. He was definitely a man on a mission, and I
mindset altogether.
Yeah. I mean, even last night, even though it was 2 goals, 3 goals, whatever they scored.
Yeah, 2.
Yeah, you could still tell he was like, he came back, he doubled down and fought back. He didn't, Sammy, if he gives up goals, he has a tendency to,
oh, well, here you go.
Yeah. Vanacek doubled down and says, I'm not going to let the next one pass.
Right.
And you can see it.
Yep.
If you're watching.
And you have to have that mindset if you want to be a number one. I think he's finally figured that out.
Yeah.
How to approach the game. And
I've actually, all the lovers out there, I apologize to you, but I've liked Vanny from the start. I think Samsonov has a lot of potential, but all his off-ice shenanigans and everything that happened over the last couple of years, he's just not as focused as he needs to be. And we don't have the coaching he needs to get him that focus. Vanacek, I've liked him from the start. I've liked his attitude. I've liked his technical abilities. I've liked his focus. So I apologize to all you Sammy lovers out there, but if I had to pick between the two, I mean, even from the start, I would have picked Vanacek.
Well, it would be very interesting if we still had the Caps still had Mitch Korn on the staff as the goalie coach
last night.
Yep, we were talking about that. If he had if Sammy had Mitch Korn,
it'd be a different ballgame.
Oh yeah,
because he could get him to figure out how to properly prepare and focus for sure.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, that's how Holtby got as good as he was.
And that would win out. That he's got more. I want to say natural talent as far as reaction. Vanacek is better overall at learning how to predict the shots and position himself. Now the one knock. What's
right. that? Better cutting down the angle. He's much more
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly right. Now the
He's
one
also,
knock. Go ahead.
He's also quicker at getting himself back in position.
Although he scares the crap out of me when he comes out of that net.
Oh yeah. Well,
scares the crap out of me.
But he's quick enough. But see, he's quick enough to get back in on time.
Right.
Sammy would get out of the net, and he'd be kind of like, okay, I'm going back to the net now.
But yeah, we were talking about Mitch Korn last night. I'm like, oh my God, what kind of a goalie dilemma would we have if he were still here?
Right?
Not much. Wouldn't even be a problem.
No.
And that's that's just a shame. Not to go down that, not to open that can of worms or go down that road, but
that's another podcast.
That's another it's another episode and a half that we can argue about what happened there. But
we were talking about that last night.
Yep.
Yeah. But the one knock I have on Vanacek's game, I think slowly but surely he's starting to correct, and that's he has a tendency to go down too low, and he opens up the top third of the net a little too often. Now, a lot of you got to be a shot artist. You got to be like an Alexander Semin to be. Somebody who would beat somebody like that on a regular basis. Now, fortunately, there are not too many of those out there, but there are enough players like that out there that, still like to have him kind of tweak that, but he hasn't been doing it as much. So I think he's learning that too.
Yeah. Vanacek is a student of the game. You can see it as he progresses through the season. You can see his game. I have seen his game develop through the season. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
He started off, like you said, he's not He's quicker getting back in position. He's not getting as low as he used to. He's hitting the angles better. His rebound control is phenomenal. The last 2 nights, his rebound control has been out of sight the last couple games.
Yeah, used to be he'd give up those awful rebounds that would go 10 feet and land on the other team's sticks.
Mm-hmm.
Not so much now.
Right. I mean, the last 2 games, I don't think he gave up very many.
Mm-mm. And if he did, they were to the corner.
Yeah.
He'd put them off to the side, to the corner, or he'd cover it.
Yep.
Yeah, I think he's finally starting to round out his game, and yeah, as far as the overall game, those little things like what the both of you just described, he's much better at that. If he could handle the puck like Braden Holtby used to,
yeah,
I would say for absolute certainty, goalie of the now and of the future, because that would be your total package right there. If he could do that.
Yep. I think he can.
It's just about learning it for him.
Yep. But he seems to learn quick. So
yeah, he's not horrible, but he's not elite level, not yet, as far as that part of it.
But you see it coming.
Yeah, no, it's coming. He's steadily improving every game. Now, Sammy, and this is to the both of speaks to the both of you and what you said. He'll have one good game, then he'll have one bad game, then he'll have another good game, and then he'll have a bad game, and you almost don't know what you're going to get from him. At least
like
with Vanacek, you know what you're going to get.
He's like the Alexander Semin of goaltenders.
You didn't know which Alex was going to show up.
Right. Exactly.
Which is why we need Mitch Corn.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
again.
Yeah, if he were here, I think he would have figured out a way to maximize his talent, and this all would not be even a discussion right now. But neither here nor there.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So that wraps up the Carolina game, and I think this was the Caps' welcome back party for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Now on to the last game of the week against the Kraken.
We didn't start off too well. I was a little worried.
I was watching this game, and Locker and Joe B both kind of said a few times that the first 5 minutes, well,
It looked like they were
not so good. Looked like they were what?
Hungover.
well,
or something to that effect. Yeah, but it was more sleepy time for our guys.
Yeah.
Underestimating their opponent.
Yeah, playing down to their opponent again.
Oh, that's like every game, but okay.
Yeah. Wouldn't be more right about that. Go ahead.
I was going to say, they didn't look awful, but they didn't look their best, and they didn't look as good as they should have against that team.
Yeah.
I was kind of worried because they didn't look like they were ready to play, and we've seen what can happen when that happens.
Mm-hmm.
So when I saw that, when I watched the first 5 minutes, I was like, this could be the trap game that everybody was saying it was.
Yeah.
Until somehow they snapped out of it, and here's that guy again, Tom Wilson. He gets his 18th. Oh, okay. So this was the goal. Okay, this one deserves a replay. Okay, so this one was the goal against the Kraken, where Tom Wilson does this kind of half spin move and then gets tripped up as he shoots it, and after Ovi drops it for him.
Yep.
Okay, so all right, here we go. Okay, so they get it out. They get it out of the zone.
Yep.
Okay, Ovi picks it up after Kuzi drops it to him, and then Ovi kind of spins around, drops it for Wilson. He dives through the high slot, throws it past Regert.
I think he did.
Yeah, he threw it on his backhand.
Literally dove.
Well, let's see. Did they call it a backhand?
I don't know what they called it, but we just watched it.
Yes, it's on the scoring summary. It says backhand. So
Cool.
so it was on the backhand. So he spun around and threw the backhand past Drieger and opened the scoring that way. It was 11:30 into the first. Caps were waking up, and yeah, that was really great to see. The highlight, probably his best looking goal of this year for sure.
Right.
I'm sure somewhere Anna was jumping up and down about this one because this was a treat to watch.
That one was cool.
Yeah, definitely. And then here was the big shocker. It was only 34 seconds later. Orlov with his ninth.
Yes. Oh my God, that was awesome.
a monster.
And this was a monster shot. This was a nice slapper. You know what? This also deserves its own replay.
Yeah.
So Dowd.
There it is. We're pulling up the replay.
Yeah, Dowd kind of gets it in the corner, and he sees Orlov all alone, kind of sort of in between the point and the circle, and he feeds him, and he crushes the one-timer.
Yep. That's from I think it was the same spot.
I think it was
Almost the same spot. Yeah, almost the same spot he scored his other goal against Carolina.
there.
Yeah, there he is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. Just about the same spot as in the Carolina goal.
Yep.
Yep, absolutely.
Maybe a little bit further.
Little bit
lower,
further
but
towards
yeah.
the circle, but yeah.
Yeah, so that might be kind of sort of his own office.
And that might kind of support my opinion.
But this was an absolutely perfect play. Hathaway had set the screen. Nobody challenged Dowd at all, and Orlov was all alone, so he figures might as well just feed him. And like I said, Orlov just crushed it.
Yeah, that was 5-hole.
And it was that was pretty. That was a pretty goal. And so I saw that and I thought, okay, all right, Caps are having a great game again, and they woke up from their funk. And then about 4.5 minutes later, Jonas Donskoy puts one in, and I didn't like how this goal played out. I thought they kind of they backed off, and Donskoy's struggling a bit, but this is the kind of guy you don't let up on him. If you give him too much space, he will beat you. And sure enough, he did.
Yeah, and that's actually one of the few times I've seen that Danny had a hard time getting back in position.
Yep.
Because he didn't get interfered with. There wasn't interference there, but he just could not get back in position because of whatever.
Yeah, it was one of those times where it was, I'm not going to say it was a bad rebound, but one of those unfortunate rebounds that takes, a favorable bounce, I would say, the borrow from football. And it ends up on Donskoy's stick, and he buries it. So not a whole lot you can do.
Nope. Not
but
much.
You hate to see that. So it was 2-1 by the end of the first. And then this is when I started to worry. Not even a minute had gone by, and Seattle tied it up.
Yeah.
Colin Blackwell with his seventh ties it up.
It was a turnover. It was a drop pass.
Yeah. Oh, right. This one. Okay. So this one we're going to take John Carlson to the woodshed here. And
he might get to hold the door.
Yeah, if you were apologizing to Sammy fans, I'm not going to apologize to Carlson fans.
I don't blame you. I wouldn't either.
This was terrible. Okay, so I put out a tweet that pretty much in this one, Carlson does his best impersonation of a traffic cone, and that's exactly what happened here.
I'm not arguing.
Yeah. So Seattle gains the zone after a turnover deep, and Carlson's playing the middle, so he's supposed to have the shot covered, and he just kind of stands there.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't even stick check, doesn't even reach out like he normally does. He just kind of skates at about half speed and just lets the guy go by and put, and the extra added bonus, he acted as a screen, so Vanacek couldn't even pick up the shot in time.
Right. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
And again, unpopular opinion with some, but I would say at this point, before his value sinks even lower, trade Carlson.
Oh, you're not going to get an argument from us.
Okay, well, that's good. I've gotten an argument before from earlier in the season. I suggested something like that, and the guy was like, "Are you nuts? He's still one of the top defensemen in the league.
He's dead.
In a beer league, maybe not this league,
Lost
not the National Hockey League."
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's lost a step or two. And
Yeah.
And he's so focused. And the thing is, he seems to have lost his focus on defense. He's more.
It's like he's offensive minded.
Yeah.
He's been more offensive minded than
the last
defensive.
couple of years. Yeah.
Yeah, and he's I don't know. It used to be that he would at least try to either take the puck away on the forecheck, or at least
poke check the guy.
Or at least poke check, or at least get back in time to cover the space going the other way. He's doing none of that now.
Right.
Or move out of Vitek's way.
Right.
Right. Or not set up a screen. But he's doing none of that.
Yeah.
And for that reason, I think his offensive upside just isn't worth what it used to be. Now, yes, you're going to see him on the score sheet setting up power play goals and whatnot. Yeah, he still has worth, but I think he's outlived his usefulness on this team right now, because
well, defensively, the game's also gotten faster, and he's not.
Right.
Yeah.
Definitely. I would 150% agree with that.
A lot of that is age, I hate to say.
Yeah, he's in his 30s, right?
Yeah, he just turned. He's either 31 or he didn't turn 30 all that long ago. But yeah, he's either 31 or 32. He's on what some of my friends would call the wrong side of 30, for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's definitely lost step. He can't keep up with the game at all. And yeah, that's why I say, while he still has some worth to somebody, get that contract off the books, make him somebody else's problem, open up some cap space. And yeah, I just don't see how he can serve much more purpose on this team, because he's just too much of a liability now. Way too much.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, the game's gotten quicker, but he has it.
Right, exactly. That's exactly what it is. He hasn't kept up.
Over, and he's getting older.
Yeah.
It's nature.
Yep.
Yeah.
They're treating him like a traffic cone.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just gotten too much, where you expect him to be responsible, at least in part, for a goal every game. That's just too much. Can't afford it.
No.
So anyway, that tied the game, and yeah, I was kind of worried, because if they were going to let something like that happen, then I figured they were just going to give up or play back or something. But then they got another power play, and 11 minutes later that Connor Sheary scored on. Wilson and Ovechkin on the assists on that. I like Sheary on the power play.
I love
do
Jerry
too.
on power play.
Because if anybody, he's going to be. I mean, we just talked about it. Movement is the key, and if anybody's going to be buzzing around, it's him.
Yep.
He's so
Which
little.
is why I like him on the fourth line.
Yeah, because you need that. The only thing I don't like about him being on the fourth line, I just thought of this, is traditionally the fourth line gets the least amount of minutes, and I think he should be out there at least 13 to 15 minutes.
Fair point.
Yeah, but the way that he flipped that goal, just took it and flipped it around to its side, so he could make that off-angle shot.
Oh yeah, yeah. He's got talent for sure, and he's got the ability to move around and make you, get yourself out of position for sure. Which is why I like the idea of him either being on the first or second power play unit. So if you're going to put him on the fourth line, fine, but let him play the power play too.
Oh, for sure.
Oh, absolutely.
So just floating that out there as an idea.
Skip over his stick.
What,
He did
what was that?
that.
I said that was one play where John Carlson didn't let it skip over his stick and out of the zone.
Oh yeah, that's another
Yeah, you're
thing.
right. He did his job.
I know. Imagine that.
I think Dmitry Orlov and John Carlson have become Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Orlov has gotten better while Carlson has gotten worse.
Yeah.
Just my opinion anyway. All right, so that would be the eventual game winner. Then we move on to the third period, and 47 seconds in, another power play. Lo and behold, Ovechkin again from the office, his 34th. Carlson and Backstrom on the assists.
Yeah.
And then Sherry ices it with the empty netter with 2 minutes left.
Yep.
And off we go. Another win in the books. Not as impressive as the Carolina game, but still good.
Fun.
Yeah, still a lot of fun to watch. 25 shots for the good guys. Didn't like seeing that. I think the first 5 to 10 minutes of being asleep or hungover or whatever it was kind of contributed to that. 2 for 2 on the power play. So 2 games they scored 2 goals on the power play. Didn't think we'd see that again.
I know.
And where were they a few weeks ago?
Yeah, in 1 week no less.
And he kept the puck in again.
Yeah.
Imagine that.
So yeah, that's I hope this is a sign of things to come, but I hate to say this, but I don't think I'm 100% convinced yet, even after these last 2 games. What do you guys think?
No, I'm not. I think we're headed in the right direction, and I think last night's game had some of those lapses you were talking about where we thought, oh, shit.
Here we go again.
Yeah. I mean, I went and got 2 doubles last night at the bar, so, I thought we were done.
I was almost right there with you.
For the game. We did a little bar hopping before the game, and I was like, you know what? If I don't stop now, I'm not going to remember this game, and tomorrow's podcast is going to be really interesting.
I think Mrs. Blue Liner will kill me if I admit this, but I was a third of the way through a fifth of bottle of tequila, and I really should not have.
And you didn't invite us.
I was watching the game, and after that second goal, I wasn't feeling too good because I didn't know if I could sit through another loss of a lead and loss to Seattle again.
Yeah, true.
But fortunately, they found it in them to come back from that and win the game. So yeah, I think you're right. They're going in the right direction, but I don't think all is well yet. I don't think they've 100% turned it around yet.
Yeah, I think we have a long way to go, and I think, and like I said this earlier, you've got to stabilize your lines. You cannot keep tweaking your lines because how are you going to develop chemistry if you don't have the same people on the same line all the time?
Very true. Very true. And hopefully
Strong's out.
Yeah.
Michael in, even though he's not performing.
Well,
Strong's in, he performs, but then he's out the next game because the AJF comes up, and it's like, or anybody, any given person really. Irwin's out. Irwin plays well.
Yeah, he does.
You could put, if Fairbairn's not playing well, put Irwin in. It's. But the thing is, you've got to keep your lines. You want chemistry. The reason we talked about this earlier, the reason the fourth line works so well is because they've been together all year.
Right.
You got to have some consistency with your lines, or nobody's going to know what the hell to do.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. And, well, I think Mantha being back and Oshie being back will help that for sure.
See, there's definitely been a momentum shift since those 2 boys have been back.
Yep.
Right. For sure. Absolutely.
And Mantha really looks like he hasn't lost much of us at all. I mean, he looks like he's really good out there. I know you said to me the other day you thought they might be bringing him back too soon, but
He didn't look like he was
he doesn't look
recovering,
like
hurting, or anything. He looked like he did when he came from Detroit.
No, you're both right. I'll admit it. He does not look like he was out of place. I would have even, thought maybe start him on the third or fourth line, but they obviously thought he was ready to go for regular duty, and he didn't disappoint. I don't know if he got I don't think he got on the score sheet a lot, but he played pretty well.
No, he was setting up screens most of the night. He
Yeah,
was
absolutely.
checking. He was.
he had a couple of shots on goal,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. But I don't
Yeah,
think
no,
that-
he was definitely out there creating chances. He did not look like he was, he had any rust on him at all.
Mm-mm.
He looks really
And that
good.
that was great to see. Yeah, that was really, really great to
Well,
see.
Yeah, I could see it when I went to practice last week before last, I went to the practice, and
We had no contact jersey.
he was still in the no contact jersey, but I mean, you could tell he was out there skating. You could tell he was feeling really good and ready to be back. So
Yeah, that's a terrific sign. So yeah, I think now that he's back and Oshie's back, and it looks like Sherry and or Janssen Fialbi will be filling in Hagelin's spot for
Right.
however long.
Right.
I think your lineup is pretty much set.
I
hate to say this, I really do. I think we've seen the last of Daniel Sprong.
Oh yeah.
I really hate myself for saying that. I really do, but I think Lorenzo was right last week. I think the plan is to trade him.
I think you might be right.
And which doesn't make sense, because if you want somebody else to pick him up, then you showcase him.
Right.
You show everybody else what he can do. You don't let him collect dust in the press box.
Yeah. Well, somebody on one of the pages, and I think, and I don't know if you were involved in the conversation, seems to think for some reason he's on Laviolette's shit list for some reason.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that, and I don't know what he possibly could have done.
I don't know, because when he's out there, he's making an impact. He's playing well.
He is. He does make things happen.
Right. Well, unless, like, I think Lorenzo mentioned it the other day, he does struggle with the D, but if the kid's not playing, he can't develop.
Right.
You want the kid to develop, you got to play him.
I mean, you played with Michael, developed nothing.
Right.
Yeah, and it's a shame, because I think he brings an element that when you're, especially when you're starved for offense.
Mm-hmm. Well, I will say he is with the team in Calgary, because they posted videos of the guys getting on the plane, and Sprong's definitely in Calgary, so maybe we'll see something.
Well, I doubt it, because I think they like what they saw in AJF. And
no, saying sit AJF, leave him in. I love what he did the other night.
I think they like what they saw in him. I did too. For me, he kind of had a shaky start, but he played him.
Put Sprong in.
Right.
Yeah, he played pretty well. He ended up playing pretty well.
He had a couple shots on goal, and he had some good defense. He was doing really well last night.
Yeah, I think they like what they saw in him, and I ended up liking him towards the end.
He got a level of maturity that I think McMichael doesn't have. Yep.
Yeah, I can see that. I can definitely see that.
For all that AJF is much younger.
Yeah, but professionally, AJF has been at it a lot longer too.
He was younger.
No, I think he's 24.
Google.
Oh, jeez.
How old is AJF?
I think he's 24.
I'm pretty sure he's 24.
Checked that the other day. Okay.
Yeah, he's been in Hershey. He's been in Hershey at least 2-3 years. I saw him play the year. Put it this way, the year after the Caps won the Cup, because they had a game in Hershey where they had the Cup. Mrs. Blueliner and I went up because of that to Hershey
Gotcha.
to see that game. He was in that game.
Okay, I stand corrected.
Yeah, he's
So-
20.
Okay.
Yeah, he's been at it. He's been at it a
Michael-
few years.
McMichael's 20.
McMichael's
okay.
20.
So that
McMichael's
explains.
only 20.
Right.
So
So, all right, so I'm asking this question because my memory has failed me. McMichael has never played in Hershey, right?
he spent all of last year in Hershey.
Yeah.
Okay, so he spent a year in Hershey.
He was
Yes.
one year there too.
Okay. Well, I knew LaPierre.
Oh yeah. I
Okay,
think they were
and
together.
this is why I'm asking, because my memory has failed me.
What
On all
happens
of
when
this.
you're 50?
Yeah, no, he spent all of that. Last year was his rookie year as a pro,
Gotcha.
and
Okay.
he spent all of it, what there was of it, in Hershey, because they had their season was really chopped to pieces because of COVID.
Right.
But
All right, thank
yeah, that he was. They played something like 50 games or something.
you. Okay.
Was their schedule? But yeah, he was there the whole year.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I think well, I mean, maybe they even decide put the two of them on a line together.
Weren't they on the line last night together?
I don't remember.
They might have been.
I think they were. Hold on.
But I can remember Johnson Fialbi's play more than McMichael's
Yeah,
play.
no,
Yeah.
no. Yeah, AJF definitely made himself known. He put himself out there a lot more than
No.
McMichael.
Is that against the Kraken? That can't be.
So
yeah.
this would be against the Kraken. I don't know that they were on a line together. If they were, it wasn't all that much.
Night,
He was on the fourth line last night.
they had it. They had AJF on the fourth line last night. Sherry was on third line with Connor McMichael.
Okay. Well, however they decided, I think you're pretty much set as far as your forwards and your D, and you've got your extras too. So this lineup that they've got now is what you can expect to see going down the stretch and into the playoffs.
Let's
Knock
hope
on
so.
wood. So
God help us.
yeah, let's hope this is the beginning of no more slump, and they start to play a lot closer to their potential. Anyway.
Right. And yeah,
So
if we can keep the line together, we should be okay.
yeah, I would say so. I think you're both right on that. If they can, stay healthy and keep some semblance of a regular set of lines with the same people
Right.
on each line, then yeah, I think they're going to start to turn around even more.
Makes me
So-
wonder if they're going to do anything at the trade deadline.
Well, yeah, I've often wondered that myself. I've been trying to swing something of a trade line discussion episode, but I don't think I'm going to be able to get enough for it. We'll see, but that would be yet another interesting conversation.
I
Mhm.
wouldn't mind a younger defenseman.
Well,
Yeah.
well, it's funny you say that, because a guy that's on my wish list is a guy I just got finished watching. I have the Dallas Minnesota game in the background, and that's John Klingberg.
Oh yeah, we talked.
Yeah.
Would love to see him in the red, white, and blue.
That would be cool.
That would be, but neither here nor there, because even though he wants out, I don't think he's going to end up here. Cap situation and all that, but we'll see. Anyway, so that was the 3 games on the ice and 2 wins. So much better effort, I thought, this week. Glad to see it. And again, hopefully this is the beginning of the turnaround.
Right.
But we'll see. Previews of coming attractions.
Yeah. Can I just interject 1 second?
Sure.
The sliver of hope that I have is that the year St. Louis won the cup, they were in dead last at one point. So that's my sliver of
Yes,
hope.
that's true. And so, yeah, if there's that to learn from, that you can turn things around mid-season after a prolonged slump, yes, you certainly can. And as we've seen, all you got to do is make the show, and anything can happen.
Mm-hmm.
So, All right, so previews of coming attractions. Next week, they're off until next Tuesday, but it starts a dreaded Western Canada road swing. They play Calgary, as C4 mentioned a couple times. First game next Tuesday, the 8th, 9 o'clock puck drop at the old Saddle Dome. And then it's a back-to-back up the province, up north to northern Alberta, over to Edmonton, and Herr Goalmeister, Leon Draisaitl, and Connor McJesus.
I hope we can. I want that game back so bad.
Oh God, I know what you're
one.
talking about, and that game pissed me off to no end.
Like I said, the only bright spot in that game was when they threw Evander Kane into the bench.
Yeah.
I was at that game.
Oh, you were?
Yeah, remember we talked about it.
That's right. I remember now. Yeah, you were texting me about it.
No, I was.
You messaged me. Yeah, you told me all about it.
Yeah,
I remember. Yeah, I want that game back too. I hope they beat them, because they should have had that game.
Sadly.
And yeah, I'm going to have my eye on that one for sure.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. That's what happens if you open the door for people to come in.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. Okay, so finishing out the week, the next game is that Friday, the 11th, against Vancouver. So a lot of us are probably not going to be staying up for this. I'm going to do my best, but Vancouver's always a 10 o'clock game.
Right.
But that's a Friday night. If a lot of people miss these guys, I understand. It's a work week, and it's all kinds of late games. So I totally get it, but I'll try and keep up with them as best as I can. But yeah, it's the dreaded Western Canada road swing. Always get mixed results with these, so this will be interesting. The new lineup will get a chance to bond, but I don't know. Calgary's kind of scary, and
yeah, they've been.
Calgary's been on a tear lately.
Yeah. So that all interesting games, as I like to say. So try and stay up for those just to see how they do. But if not, I totally get it. So
I'm not sure if I'll be able to stay up for Tuesday's game, because I'm going to be at the gym at 5:30 in the morning on Wednesday. So.
Yeah, that's going to be a tough one. The Calgary and the Vancouver games are going to be certainly tough ones to stay up for sure. So, like I said, if everybody out there, if you're missing them, then I totally get it. So it's not bad on you. So okay, so we've got a little bit of time left. Okay, so again, this being Women's History Month, I wanted to ask the both of you some questions about. Well, okay, so pretty much same along the lines for Black History Month, except there's a little bit of a different dynamic to this that I want to talk about first. How much are into the actual women's game are either one of you? You ever catch any of the women's pro games?
I have not watched any recently, but the ones I've watched have been a great deal of fun.
I watched the Olympic tournament. Those were really good.
Yeah, those are always top notch, because you got best on best there.
Yeah, and women's hockey has always impressed me. And I have a cousin who played hockey, and she coached her kids in hockey. And it's just awesome to see them out there playing that hard, and it impresses me because it's something I can't do.
Yeah, that's what they honored. They honored the.
Yeah, they did.
Before the game last night.
Yeah, they did a puck drop. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, that's the other thing. So it was the Dream Gap Tour is what they're calling it. It's the Professional Women's Hockey Player Association. This isn't the actual pro league. This is kind of a group of pro women's hockey players who actually broke away from the women's league, now called the PHF, Premier Hockey Federation.
Okay.
And yeah, that's not the pro league. This is a group who banded together and said, okay, well, we want better conditions. We want to be recognized as a real pro league. They felt that the old league wasn't doing their job, and I can kind of see that. But my whole thing about that is, you really ought to pool your resources together and make your strongest case as one unit, And
Yeah.
I won't get too much into that because I'm not going to pretend, I know enough about that situation, to lecture anybody. But I think if you're going to make your case as a legit sport, which it is, the women's game is legit. At least to me, it is.
Absolutely.
And make sure everybody playing it.
That's true.
Yeah, some of them play better than the men.
Yeah,
Well,
absolutely.
I bet. Well, a lot of them probably played with the boys when they were growing up because there weren't girls' leagues.
Right,
Oh, Matt-
exactly.
Played with girls. I mean, it was a club team, so male and female were welcome. So
Right, exactly. But the point of all this is to make sure they have their own league where they can not only play for, because they love the game, but play for a living. And not, because the sad part of it is most, pro women's players, they have to take a second job because it doesn't pay them enough.
well,
Right,
the women's soccer team just went and got won their lawsuit for equal pay.
Right. Right. So I was just curious as to, what you guys thought of that. Like, for example.
Oh, I think they absolutely deserve to get paid.
Well, absolutely, because some of them are just as talented, if not more talented than
Some of the guys. Right.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. No, I've always been a fan of the women's game, but yeah, they certainly, at the very least, they certainly deserve to be paid something of a living wage. And there's actually all this new money and development going into the league, the established league, the PHF.
Mm-hmm.
So that'll be interesting to see. But yeah, I think for me, I would like to see the NHL kind of, be an advertising beacon for that, whether it's the Olympics or, the pro leagues or something like that. Yeah. Yeah. It's nice. You have, somebody like, one of the Lamoureux twins in the All-Star Skills competition. That's nice, but I really think they should be doing more. What do you guys think?
Well, like the NBA is very heavily partnered with the WNBA.
Right. I want to see that.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Because they're more invested, I guess, in the success of the WNBA than the NHL is in women's hockey.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's, I think a lot of that goes back into, because way back in the day, hockey was a men's sport. And, women don't hit and women don't get, aggressive and women don't skate and, women are only good. I think there's still a lot of that residual mentality in some people, not all the players. Obviously you've got many players that support women's hockey, but there's in the backdoor rooms, if you will, that mentality that women are not hockey players, they cannot be hockey players because blah, 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 whatever it is. And I actually never knew women played hockey until, I was old enough to, I had a cousin who played most of her life. And she's about the same age I am. But it wasn't really talked about. It was talked about my male cousins. Oh, they're playing hockey. And then all of a sudden I found out, hey, my other cousin's playing hockey too. Well, why aren't y'all talking about her? Because she was doing great,
Yeah.
I mean,
case in point, when Matt played high school, he was playing against a team that had a girl on it. And he forechecked her to get the puck away from her, and everybody's screaming because he checked her. And he looked at the coach on the bench. He's like, what? This isn't ballet.
Right.
He's like, if she didn't want to get hit, then don't
She
play.
wouldn't be out there.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. When you're younger, you could probably get away with co-ed, but yeah, like you said, in the actual women's game, there is no hitting, but that doesn't, for me, that doesn't make it, less exciting or less, pleasing to watch.
More of a finesse game.
Right.
For me, you really see the skills. Some of these women,
right,
they can really move. They're a lot better skaters than, I would say, 60% of the men in the NHL.
Oh yeah, absolutely. If you had them skating against the men, they would skate circles around them. Most of them.
Yeah, for sure. So if you want to see, I would say if you want to see more of a pure game, watch one of those games.
So maybe
Sorry.
Jack Carlson should sign up for the women's team.
I'm going to leave that one alone. I'm going to leave that one go. But
Around him. They would run circles around him.
they would. They would. But yeah, I try to catch the problem. The problem with me is the pro women's games, unfortunately, most of them are on when I'm working early afternoon. So I don't get to catch a lot of them as much as I'd like. But when I can, especially their All-Star game recently, but when I can, I definitely catch those. So
Yeah, I
it's
like to watch.
yeah, it's a shame that they're not talked of more and more part of the hockey culture. But it's just, I don't know. It's inching closer to that, but probably not as quickly as a pace. So last question about that. What do you think should be done by the NHL or whoever the powers that be to make that game bigger?
I think
Probably more promotion, more advertising, more.
maybe even, an exhibition game.
Yeah.
You know, have a game.
Have them play like a period.
Yeah.
Have people see what it's about.
Yeah.
Make it
or
accessible to people.
like instead of having the Mighty Mites between periods, have the women's hockey team and come out and play. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I know we don't have a women's team in DC, but have a women's team come out and play to show what it's about. You get 15 minutes or 10 minutes or whatever it is, but that's 10 minutes or more people know about women's hocky.
Right.
Oh, I would be all for that. And in fact, I would not be averse to, okay, well, your ticket's going to cost a little bit more, but stick around and you'll see these two teams, like what with the Dream Gap Tour, stick around, we'll resurface the ice. You're going to see these two teams, some of the world's best, play on on Capital One ice for 10 minutes and show what they can do. I would hang around for that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Make it like the NBA has made the WNBA like an extension of their league.
Yeah, right. something like that.
About it.
Right, exactly. I would love to see the National Hockey League get involved in that, but
yeah.
I don't know why they haven't, and I think that the split that I mentioned earlier might have something to do with it, but I really, really wish they would, because that would lend a ton of credibility to it. Not that they don't have any, but it'd be like, finally the sunlight is behind them for once, instead of they're playing in the shadows, for whatever metaphor that means. So
right.
So that's one anyway. So yeah, I just wanted to get ask you both about that, because there are women out there who are full throat supporting, and then there are some that are like you mentioned, Cheryl, that may not have been aware at first, and then just come to find out, oh, there's women who play for professionally at a lot of places.
And I think that's a large part of it, is people just don't know that
it's there. You're right.
Yeah.
Unless you grow up in the culture of hockey, you don't know that it's there.
Right.
Right.
Or the culture of hockey that you grow up in, like mine, is so focused on the male hockey team, not the female hockey team. I didn't even know my cousin played until I was about 12 or 13 years old.
Yeah, and it's a shame, because they deserve some time in the spotlight. And I think of, I hate to bring this up, but the outdoor game where they the Winter Classic, where they announced the USA hockey roster. We're going backwards here. So they talked over that. They showed all of the individual players. The stadium announcer was introducing them, and they had the commentators talk over that the whole time.
Yep.
And that's, that kind of a thing. Just, come on, you got to be more aware.
Yeah.
And I think awareness is a big thing. I think people just aren't aware.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think they don't know that women's hockey exists, professional women's hockey.
Other than the Olympics.
Right.
Yeah, and that's, I really wish they could get the time, maybe with this new money that they've got. It's something like a $25 million pledge from a bunch of different sponsors. Maybe, they'll get the ice time and the advertising and all that. So we'll see. But, it's baby steps, but I think it is growing. But yeah, I don't think enough people are aware. I just, you want to see more of that going forward, because it is, it's worth watching, very much so.
A couple of exhibition games
Absolutely.
in DC, or even resurface the Baltimore Arena.
There you go.
Yeah, well, absolutely. Nice big arena. So the Dream Gap tour was in Kettler. I mean, the Caps are on the road. Why not let them play in Cap 1?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I don't. It's things like that, little things like that, I don't understand.
Yeah. Or even like at the Stadium Series.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Let them have their own. Yeah, let them have their own game as part of the Stadium Series.
Before the big game.
Yeah.
Right.
The Winter Classic, or before the Stadium.
Yeah, like a pregame.
Yeah.
Oh, exactly.
Yeah.
I think people would hang around for that.
I think so.
I would.
Definitely.
Hey, it's hockey. I'm hanging around for it. I'm playing.
For sure. It's so these ladies are some of the best in the world, and yeah, I would definitely watch that. So no question in my mind. Okay, well, we run pretty long here, fortunately or unfortunately, but I really think it was well worth it. It was good talking to both of you. Both of you, Lynn and C4, you definitely know your shit for sure.
Okay,
After talking up these 3 games, lot of good observations, a lot of good notes. And I think we all agree about a lot of things, not the least of which are 74 and who's the number 1 goalie, among other things.
Oh. But what we don't agree on is Olaf's got a better shot.
Yeah, we'll leave that for another night. So,
That's okay.
Agree to
It's all
disagree. I guess
good.
she can agree to disagree with you.
It's
yeah,
all good.
okay, that's fair. That's fair. So yeah, so the both of you will probably have on, if not later this month, then definitely later on this season for sure, because the games are going to get hotter. So thanks again to both of you for coming on. And before we wrap it up for good, just want to put another last note out there. Ted Peters, Nats Captain Obvious, happy birthday to you, sir. Good seeing you out at the games and out and about again. So yeah, God love you for battling back from COVID, and good seeing you.
Yep. Happy birthday.
So just wanted to put that out there. Okay, so for Lynn and C4, Lynn, we got to come up with a nickname for you too. Because why do I call her C4? She blows up my phone.
That she does.
Yeah.
Mine at 5 a.m.
I have been known to do. I may or may not have been known to do that.
Not that I mind. It makes me. It reminds me of, if anything, there's a game going on and there's shit I need to be keeping my eye on. So that's absolutely great. No complaints here.
Or when you're doing or when I'm listening to the podcast.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so for Lynn Riegert and Cheryl Ann Forster, this is the Blue Liner on Point signing off and reminding you that I have been banned from the secret cooking society. You know why? I kept spilling the beans.
Oh my God.
Jesus Christ. They're getting better.
If Anna were here, she would be retching right now.
She probably would. You're absolutely right. You and the
Hallelujah and let's go Caps.
Amen.
Let's go Caps.
This has been another episode of the Power Play Point Podcast. All episodes are available from Apple Podcasts, the Podbean app, blueliner77.podbean.com, and now available from Stitcher. Music by Joe McAllister, voiceover by Jeffrey Conkle.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good night, Power Play Point Podcast. Thanks for listening.